We've all seen those signs, right? The ones advertising a burger for just a couple of dollars. And it makes you wonder, how do these fast food giants really make their billions? It's a simple question with a surprisingly complex answer.
Now, before we dive in, just a quick heads up. This explainer is for educational purposes only. We're just breaking down a business model, so please don't take any of this as financial advice.
So here's the paradox that I think we've all considered. You can buy a burger for just a few bucks, but the companies selling them are some of the biggest in the world. How does that math even work?
The common thinking is pretty logical. They must make their money by just selling a ton of these low-cost items. A tiny profit on each one, but multiplied millions and millions of times over.
But that's only a very small piece of the puzzle. The food is just the most visible part of a much larger and honestly a far more profitable system. The real money is made in the structure of the business itself. So in this explainer, we're going to break that system down. First, we'll tackle the burger misconception. Then we'll get into the real profit drivers, the franchising engine, the hidden real estate game, and the power of high-margin add-ons. And finally, we'll see how the whole system ties together to make it all work.
Okay, so let's start with the food. While it's obviously crucial for getting you in the door, the actual profit margin on a core item like a single burger is often incredibly small. The real money just isn't made there.
And that brings us to the first major part of this whole model, the franchising engine. This is where the parent company sets up a really predictable, low-risk stream of income for itself. Let's understand this with a simple example. First, a local business owner pays a huge one-time franchise fee just to get started. Then, on top of that, the owner has to pay the parent company a percentage of everything they sell every single month. We call these royalties. And, in return, the parent company provides the brand name, the recipes, and the marketing playbook. That's the core of the deal.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Think about who holds the risk. The local franchise owner is the one who has to pay for everything day to day. The staff, the ingredients, the electric bill. They carry almost all of the financial risk. Because of that, the parent company gets to collect all those fees and royalties with very little direct risk of its own. It's a steady, predictable flow of cash, always moving up.
Okay, the next layer of this system is something most of us never even think about. Many of the biggest fast food corporations are actually massive real estate companies, quietly acting as the landlord in the background.
Think about it this way. The parent company often finds and secures the best pieces of land in prime locations. They either buy it outright or they sign a very long lease. Then they build the restaurant. And the person who operates that restaurant, the franchise owner, has to pay monthly rent directly to the parent company, on top of all the other fees we just talked about.
So let's just pause and see what's happening. From just one single restaurant location, the parent company has created 3 completely separate streams of income. There's that initial franchise fee, then the ongoing royalties from sales, and the very consistent monthly rent. In many cases, the money made from just the rent is more significant than the money made from selling food.
All right, now let's go back and look at the food again, because even on the menu, not all items are created equal. The real profit at the counter comes from all those little upgrades.
This chart here shows it perfectly. The main thing you came for, the burger, that has a really low profit margin. But look at the add-ons, the soda, the fries. Their margins are way, way higher. It costs almost nothing to produce them, but they're sold at a big markup. A fountain drink, for example, is nearly pure profit.
And this right here explains a question you've probably heard 1,000 times. That simple suggestion, would you like to make it a large, for just a little bit more money, is a core part of the entire profit strategy. It's a gentle nudge toward the items that make them the most money.
To put it as simply as possible, the profit from these small upgrades, when you multiply it across millions of people every single day, adds up to a massive amount of money for the whole company.
And finally, none of this would even be possible without the operational system that holds it all together. It's a machine that's built for 3 things: speed, volume, and creating customer habits.
Just try to imagine the scale here. A single successful restaurant can serve thousands of customers in just one day. It's that unbelievable volume that lets all those small profits, from the fees, from the rents, from the sodas, all add up into billions of dollars.
And that volume only happens because the whole system is designed for it. The service is fast and standardized, which means every location works the exact same way.
The supply chains are centralized, so they can buy ingredients in massive bulk to lower costs, and the marketing is all about familiarity, creating a habit that keeps you coming back without even thinking about it.
Okay, so let's bring all these pieces together. Let's do a quick recap of how this whole system is designed to generate such predictable cash.
First, there's franchising. This shifts the risk to local owners, while the parent company just collects steady fees. Second, real estate. The parent company becomes a landlord, collecting consistent rent checks every month. Third, the add-ons. Those high-margin items boost the profit on every single order. And finally, the whole system is built from massive volume, which makes all those tiny profit streams add up to a huge number.
When you put all of those parts together, you get to the central idea. These companies, they don't just sell food. They sell a system.
So the next time you see an ad for a cheap burger, you can see it in a totally different way. You'll remember that the real business isn't the burger itself. It's the incredibly efficient financial and operational structure that's working behind it.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. What other businesses that you see every day might also be operating on a powerful, hidden system that most of us just don't see?